Jaden was in grade 6, an age where the world is still concrete, especially for a young person active in the Iglesia ni Cristo, a faith tradition known for its distinct, firm theological focus. For a child preparing for baptism, the focus was strictly on scripture, not the realm of spirits and folk belief. Jaden therefore had no frame of reference for the supernatural, making what happened all the more shocking. The terror began with a recurring waking hour, 3 o'clock. Hi. It happened on a Sunday, the day of worship. Jaden awoke precisely at the 3 o'clock mark. As he looked at the clock, his eye happened to be positioned perfectly over a tear in his blanket. And in that tiny, focused window of vision, everything that was safe and certain dissolved. A figure materialized before him. It was a terrifying tableau. A blackbird was there, a dark, ill omen. Beside it stood a hairy man, large in build but not particularly tall. The creature had 2 horns. Its eyes were burning red, and they were fixed on Jaden with a terrifying intensity. Jaden's memory of the demon's appearance is still crystal clear years later. It was a primal image of evil, perfectly aligned with the classic Judeo-Christian depiction of the devil, or Diablo. In that moment, fear was the only thing that mattered, and Jaden's only defense was to squeeze his eyes shut and hope that what he saw was merely a figment of a child's imagination. After telling his older sister what he saw at church, the physical manifestations began. Jaden's body felt heavy, constantly fatigued, an exhaustion that was inexplicable for a young, otherwise healthy boy. The affliction reached its climax during another church service. While singing hymns, Jaden dropped his songbook. He tried to reach for it with his left hand, but before he could, his body collapsed. He couldn't move his feet. He couldn't stand. Even more frightening, saliva began to drool uncontrollably from his mouth. This sudden collapse, complete with the loss of motor control and salivation, immediately suggests a serious medical event, perhaps a seizure. Rushed to the hospital, Jaden underwent tests. The results came back normal. Medically, there was nothing wrong with him. This is the classic fork in the road of Philippine experience. When Western medicine offers no answer, one must turn to the traditional. Jaden's mother, who came from a Catholic background, made the decision to consult a mangagamat, a folk healer near the train tracks. This healer confirmed Jaden's fear. What he saw was real. The encounter led to a diagnosis that placed the events firmly in the spiritual realm. The healer administered healing water and performed a specific traditional act, the removal of the third eye. The third eye, or inner spiritual sight, is believed in some traditions to be an accidental or forced opening of one's perception to the spirit world. While mangagamats deliberately open this sight to aid in healing, for an untrained person, it can be a terrifying curse that makes one vulnerable to unseen entities. The ritual aims to close this unwanted opening. The devil, or his agents, are rarely subtle. Their presence is often a calculated assault, seeking not just attention, but a permanent foothold in the soul. The spiritual attack, however, was not finished. A second collapse occurred just one night later, this time at home, while Jaden was reaching for food. Again, he was rushed to a hospital. Again, the results were normal. In a state of heavy, distressed consciousness, another tricycle driver suggested a different course, a visit to a Catholic church and another albulario. This healer used a small piece of tissue paper placed on Jaden's foot. The resulting pain was so intense that Jaden, despite his age, could not hold back his tears. This type of treatment, where a minor object is used to cause extreme localized pain, is a traditional diagnostic technique used by some healers to force a spiritual entity to release its grip or to reveal itself through the patient's reaction. After this second agonizing treatment, the attacks finally ceased. Jaden's sister noted a terrifying detail during this time. Not only was Jaden experiencing extreme hunger, but his voice had changed, a sign often cited by practitioners that a malevolent entity was attempting or succeeding in possession. The demon had been trying to claim a foothold in Jaden's body. Years later, Jaden is an adult, but the experience is not over. He reports that while the physical attacks stopped, the sense of presence has never truly left. He still feels them nearby, staring, attempting to regain his attention. At that point, crucially, he feels a lingering heaviness and pain in his left eye, the side of his face that was closest to the terrible figure through the slit in the blanket. He feels that the entity or its minions are still close, patiently waiting. Whether this entity was a simple hallucination brought on by a fever, a genuine demonic attack recognized by two different healers, or an episode of cataplexy, a condition that causes sudden muscle weakness, often triggered by strong emotion, sometimes associated with narcolepsy, the fear and the trauma are undeniably real. What we are left with is a story that defies easy explanation, highlighting the potent intersection of faith, medicine, and folklore in the Philippines. For Jaden, it was a battle for his body and soul at the age of 12, a confrontation with an evil so primal that only the intervention of spiritual tradition could break its grip. Jaden's powerful ending reminds us that sometimes victory is not about making the monsters disappear completely, but about surviving their presence. We are left to wonder, if the third eye was truly closed, what is that lingering feeling of being watched? Is it a permanent spiritual scar? Or does the power that once saw the dark figure still exist, silently observing? Before we wrap up, I want to thank Jaden for sharing such a terrifying and deeply personal experience. If you have a story that has haunted you for years, whether it involves a folk healer, a creature of the dark, or a strange occurrence that defies logic, we want to hear it. Please visit storiesphilippines.com to share your narrative with us. If you are enjoying the deep dives into Filipino folklore and the paranormal, please take a moment to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast. Sharing the episode helps more people find these unique stories. You can also find links in the show notes for our Patreon and other ways to support us financially, which gives you access to exclusive content and helps us keep telling these chilling tales. Chapter episodino, Detienos Kenaniku. Do you think Jaden's experience was a targeted spiritual attack, or a manifestation of a deep psychological terror brought on by illness and vulnerability? Let us know your thoughts.